Welcome back to CFS Abaton. My name is Anastasia. There is plenty of sunshine today. So on today's video, beaches, setbacks, and grief. Oh my. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the beach scene today is very different from the scenes of my setback that's currently happening on Crete. But you wouldn't think by the looks of things that there could possibly be a setback happening. How on earth is that possible? Well, moving here is a wonderful life change, and I think part of recovery is wanting to live lives that align with our deepest truth. I love nature. I love mountains. I'm also very close to a city center here, so it feels like the best of both worlds, and I have a long history with Greek culture. So it sounds like a good fit for now. However, when I arrived, it's been very difficult, and there's been an unexpected setback. Why? This goes back to the emotional reservoir that Dr. John Sarno and Nicole Sachs often talk about in their work. So when I was in Florence, I had just started stabilizing in my community. I was enjoying activities, and those of you with CFS and TMS symptoms understand what a big deal it is to be able to happily ride a bike around, to be able to attend group gatherings, to go on social meetups and meet new people, put yourself in new experiences, and in a foreign country. Recovering from CFS, that's a sign of great growth. And I started to have the experience of being in life again, and it was very comforting for me to have some regular people, regular places, regular routines, and a drop dead gorgeous city all around me. To be fair, this is not ugly, but the beauty of Florence is the beauty of Florence. So my system stabilized for a period of time, and I think in retrospect, what my body wanted was to be left alone to enjoy that for a little bit longer. My mind thought, hey, you came to Europe to eventually move to Greece anyway, so why not just fast forward it? A wonderful place opened up for me here to live. Housing in this particular city is not easy to come by year round, as it's a very holiday rich place. So I decided to seize the moment, and I had a lot of experts and coaches encouraging me to do so, encouraging me that it would be fine. However, we were all shooting the messenger, and my deep self inside of me was saying, not yet. And we all overrode that for this wonderful reality. And when I got here, my body wasn't ready to be here. So what does the setback look like? It looks like a lot of stored grief, having left a situation that was working for me too soon. A lot of grief around after having spent years in severe symptoms to finally come out of that, finally have the stability, the people, the places and things, and then feel that it got ripped out from under me. So there's years of grief from being sick, going without that, and then losing that without having enough time to just really savor it for a little bit longer. So physically, what's happened for me is I have come into some ugly stomach aches, some intense onsets of panic, and they're not every day, all day, but they do arise. And I'm talking about this today because I think it's an important conversation to have, how important it is for some of us, if you've been a type A person like me who is regularly achieving things and going and getting the next thing, to really listen quietly in a world that will often side with us to go get our next dream, and the value of listening to that quiet voice that might be saying, not out of fear, but out of prudence and just intuition and inner body truth, pause. Not avoid, that's different. Not avoid out of fear, but like just pause because it feels like the right thing to do. Now, does that mean I should not be in Greece? I don't know. I don't think so. I really believe if I wasn't supposed to be here, this rare opportunity would not have opened up for me, and I wouldn't be sharing this video with you. So last night, and I'll maybe add a photo of my setback because I thought about taking my setback and trying to be of service to other people. So I might include a photo, might change my mind later. I was meditating, and this huge wave of just feeling like I wanted to throw up tears came over me. And there was such an immense release of grief and tears and sobbing. And I told someone that it sounded like I was at a funeral. That's how immense the grief was, of all the years of being sick, going without that feeling of community connection, finally having it, then having people who are supposed to protect me and the experts, kind of listen to my inner truth, but we overrode it in the grief of that, of not listening to myself, and accumulated grief that's down in the storehouse. You know, if I'm a house and I have a basement of emotions, well, this grief is the cellar beneath the basement. And it really came up, and it was big, and I made it through. It was fine. I had a few people I could share the experience with who understood. And I got to, after the feelings came out, reassess kind of different ways of looking at it. Some might call that brain retraining, but that didn't come in place of the emotions, and the emotions needed to come first. You may see some neighbors walking by. The emotions needed to come first. I couldn't just jump to brain retraining and tell myself a new story about it, because that's not what needed to happen. And recovery for me is not about bypassing my emotions with brain retraining, not bypassing my emotions with spirituality, using brain retraining and using spirituality only after I have come into touch with the emotions from deep inside. So I wrote about them, I cried about them, which was really important for me. And I talked about them, which was important for me, to people who understood kind of how my mind works and tends to focus on loss, and give myself an opportunity to course correct. So the next day I'm here, I'm at the beach, and, you know, I think for me, one of my needs is to be in beautiful places, beautiful environments, to have some contact with nature. And the tricky thing is that when there's a setback creating grief and stomach aches, it prevents me, and I'm sure can probably prevent other people from doing things that bring them joy, like more engaged social interactions, more activities that include being out and about, and there is a lot of grief that goes with that. However, for this particular setback, not every day is like that, and I'm here to share that setbacks can really be just blips, seasons, and the body adjusting and maybe having some more going on in the cellar beneath the basement of emotions that needs its own time to come out. And if you're dealing with grief, which I find can come in many forms, so many forms that I will actually be making quite a few videos about grief. It's a really nuanced thing. It just kind of comes out as it comes out. And what I can support people in is holding space for the grief to have its own process. So being on an island In Greece definitely allows space for that, and I'm glad to say that without pressure, I'm here at the beach. We'll probably have a swim, and if it works later, I will be flexible and let my body decide if it would like to go to a social event. I will let my body decide if it would like to go to the local Christmas market. Can you believe it's Christmas right now? Isn't that crazy? And be flexible. There's nothing to prove anymore in my life. I think some of us type A people often have something to prove to ourselves in what we can do, and I'm letting that go. So let's see what the rest of Christmas has in store. But for now, a beach is good enough, and being here with you and sharing this experience is good enough. Things don't have to be perfect to be good. You do not have to be on a Mediterranean island to recover. You don't have to be in Florence, Italy to find community. It's possible to do these things right where you are. Life doesn't have to be perfect for recovery to take place. We just need to start working with our emotions in a new way. And I'll close with this. I was on a group coaching call one day, and I was talking to the group about my plans at the time of moving to Florence, Italy for a graphic design bachelor degree I was accepted into, that I worked really hard to be accepted into. And they're like, oh yeah, you should go, and sure, you have symptoms, but the environment will be so inspiring and uplifting. And there was one person, and I'll never forget her, and she said, don't forget that when you move to a foreign country, there's also a lot of stress that comes with it. Being in a new environment, someplace you don't know, uprooting yourself also puts a stress on the body. And everyone overshadowed her voice with the go do it, go get it, don't be afraid. And you know what? They were all correct. They were all correct. What my body was saying all of those times, from California to Florence and Florence to Greece, is to please pause. So to say, if you're thinking you need to make big life changes as you follow my channel, there is a lot of strain that goes with it, and it's important to really listen to our own voices. I don't regret the decision I made to make some big leaps and moves. It's just part of my life, and I just chose to go really big. And there's price tags to that, which is setbacks. But for me, it's part of the path, but it's not required to recover. And sometimes everyone can be right, but what's more important is the truth of our body, listening to it, and hopefully having contact with someone who understands that there's no one right way. And the solution is really with us, between us and our soul, and to give us the tools I find are really important for me to have some sovereignty, autonomy, and empowerment in that voice. So I'll leave you here for today, wishing you all wonderful resilience, hope, and the finding of solutions you need for your life that are true for you, and definitely sending you all of my love and understanding I could muster if you are going through your own setbacks and finding your way through them. You can, we can, and we can do this together. Goodbye from Crete.